people at the end of the session would say, oh, you know what, the tyres are actually a bit harder than what we thought they'd be, and they didn't degrade quite as much. We should have gone out a little bit earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Maybe another 10 minutes early would have been fine.
Mind you, though, with 1 minute 22, it's still a good 2 to 3 seconds slower than where it was in FP1.
1:14.7 from last year. But this morning it was a 1:18.2, of course, on the soft compound tyre, as Alonso goes quickest from Sergio Perez. At the swimming pool, Martin Brundle's got a gaggle of cars heading his way.
Yeah, and I'm so pleased to have too. This is the highlight of my Formula 1 year, standing about a metre away from the cars on the way into the swimming pool, seeing the commitment. The Mercedes-Benz rise the curbs like a limousine. The Williams not too far behind them in that respect either. You see as they squirt the throttle coming out to back, all of them. The back end of the cars are just squirming around, desperately trying to get the power on the ground. Williams just goes through again now and definitely looks extremely good through here, does that Williams. But Mercedes-Benz looking, you have to say, very serene, as it has done all year. That'll take some beating. And the Ferrari dancing around, back end trying to step out as it just came through. I can only see the back of the cars from here, but they're really working overtime in the Ferrari. But critically, it was carrying good speed, and sometimes you need a car a little bit on the nose around here. You need it a little bit unbalanced, a little bit unstable to get it to turn in. You spend so long on those slow apexes, but this is where we see the bravery of the drivers as they turn in unsighted. Hulkenberg comes off the curb, back end jumps out on him, unlike the Williams, unlike the Mercedes-Benz. And finally we're getting, as Hamilton goes through, carrying 10 miles an hour more than most of them I've seen so far. Jean-Eric Vergne looking like this might be an unbelievable curve. Back to you, David.
Fernando Alonso held up by Pastor Maldonado. Not Maldonado's fault, he was pushing too. Goes even quicker with a 1:19.4. Sebastian Vettel finding himself now with a little bit of space and not too many behind him, although Hamilton is gaining, and Hamilton half a second behind Alonso, picking up pace through the final 2/3 of his previous lap. And oh, Felipe Massa, massive lock-up. And in front of him, there's Nico Rosberg wanting to go a little bit slower than Massa would like. And in the end, Rosberg manages to duck out of the way. Massa pushing hard here, as Hamilton now does a 20.8 through the first sector. I mentioned it, it's the quickest first sector we've had so far. Massa crosses the line, goes 5th fastest.
Yeah, Hamilton's got a bit of free space. I'm just looking at the track map there. He's got Hulkenberg in front just coming into the tunnel. So Hamilton in the tunnel now.
Hulkenberg's definitely on the slowing down lap.
Okay, so yeah, here is the cameras pick up Lewis now, fastest first sector. Like you say, Crofty, so Hulkenberg into Tabak now. Lewis just going to catch him perhaps by the end of that? No. Oh, he backs out of it.
He does. He's got the feeling he felt he was going to catch Nico Hulkenberg somewhere on the exit of the swimming pool. So...
Okay, Daniel, there's no good gaps on circuit. Try and make space for the cars behind.
Yeah, and Hamilton, if they were doing their job properly at Mercedes, would have said, look, Hulkenberg, you know, let him get away a little bit, back up, then go for it again. And he was a slowing down lap from Nico Hulkenberg, but he did stay out. Has someone been pushing a little bit too hard? Is that why we're seeing a yellow flag? Has someone made contact with the barriers? How close was Vettel there? How close is Ericsson there? Too close. That's going to ruin anyone's attempt to try and set the fastest lap at the moment, although he has at least got reverse, yeah.
He might just get away with this. But Alonso, I was mightily impressed with him. Yeah. He's just straight on it. Like Martin said, the car dancing around at this section here, around the swimming pool section, and really driving the thing like it was a go-kart. Amazing stuff. Lewis Hamilton right on the scene of where Marcus Ericsson was reversing slowly and through the tunnel, now right behind Marcus Ericsson, who's got going again. But that will have slowed down Hamilton's charge, and it was a 20.6 for the first sector. Now this session here really falls into the hands of the likes of Fernando Alonso, the Lewis Hamiltons, and if he was out there, Kimi Räikkönen, the real natural drivers where they drive by the seat of the pants, and you know, they feel it. They don't look at data. They feel what's going on and live by their senses. And you know, without much time to study anything, you really see that true talent shine here. Right, Hamilton slowing down, backing up a little bit. Can't back up too much because he's got Ericsson now right behind him.
That lap's not going to count for much. This is where he has one more chance, and he only just made the checkered flag by 2 seconds. Danny Kvyat has not made the checkered flag, so his session is over as Alonso with a 20.5 goes even faster through the first sector.
Let's just sit back and watch this, Crofty. This is how it's done. I'm sure Lewis is going to perhaps go faster on his first sector. No, he's had a bit of an average first sector, but watch this. Great stuff by Alonso once again.
Yeah,
the car changing direction very well. I mean, surely it's light on fuel, but I mean they're all probably concentrating on a bit of a quali setup. Keeps the rear in check on the exit of Raskas there. Nice and neat and tidy on the exit of Anthony Noge. Up to the finish line. What's it going to be?
It is going to be a 1:18.4, the only one in the 1:18s. Jenson Button's popped himself up second fastest. Valtteri Bottas now goes to within a second of Fernando Alonso and goes above Jenson Button as we watch Sebastian Vettel. Did he create enough of a gap? What's his time going to be? Sebastian Vettel next across the line after Jean-Eric Vergne. Hamilton's gone best of all to the middle sector. Vettel crosses the line in the 1:19s, but second fastest for him. Perez fifth fastest now, on board with Hamilton as he made up the time that he lost in the first part of the lap. Not quite 4/10 behind Fernando Alonso, but he did lose time in the first sector, and this was on his third, I think, attempt to set a flying lap on these super soft tyres.
Something clearly went wrong for him in the first sector, but a good mix and an interesting mix of drivers. Alonso setting the fastest first sector, Hamilton middle, and Bottas the final.
But this is what happened in qualifying. In conditions like this, you are at the lap of the gods a little bit, and you can be on a great lap, and then you get to Raskas, and then someone is parked there, and that's the end of your quali or your chance for pole, as Alonso found out in 2006 when Schumacher was the car in front of him.
Yeah, and yeah, like we were saying, you know, before those drivers that really live by their senses, and we saw Bottas last year. Was it in Canada? In qualifying,
yeah, that's right.
P3 was it on the grid?
Yeah.
Amazing lap by him, and so we've seen there. You know, he's up there. He's pretty handy when you know, drivers are up against it, and you know, quickly changing conditions.
Which way does the Lotus want to go? Where's the Ferrari want to go here? They practice their starts.
And this is always, I always think this bit's quite dangerous, Crofty. I don't know about you, but you know, you're pulling up to, you're overtaking cars that are just getting ready to do their launch, and you know, you don't know. It's not like a genuine start of the race where all the lights go out together and away you go. It's, you know, at random points you've got different cars launching away, and you could be happily pulling into position while someone's just letting go of the clutch.
So let's have a little listen.
That's how a start on board 2014 style sounds.
And did get up to third gear by the time he hit Saint-Devote as well.
Very short run down into turn one. What is it?
210 metres pole to the apex of T1, and obviously Alonso wasn't on pole.
So we go from the longest run down to turn one to the shortest.
Something to dance about in the end for the Ferrari fans. Fernando Alonso found the gap and found some pace, and came to quite an exciting climax, didn't it, that session? Fastest, and in the 1:18s. Lewis Hamilton, the only other driver in the 1:18s, didn't find the gap, got held up by Ericsson, and those yellow flags as well, was 4/10 off. Sebastian Vettel not far behind Lewis Hamilton. Jean-Eric Vergne up there, fourth fastest in the end, and Valtteri Bottas, who we mentioned for Williams. Jenson Button was the quickest man on the intermediate tyres. Daniel Ricciardo was told to try and find a gap out there. It's not ideal, but could only finish 9th fastest, and you'll notice there no